call yourself. All right? Now, y'all know the number one term that our people have been known to call themselves is black. We're going to start with black. Now, why are these terms important? Let's understand what's going on every time you open your mouth. Every time you speak, you are creating a contract. Every time you utter any kind of words, you are creating a contract, whether that be a cosmic contract or a legal contract. When you say I am, then you speak a law. All right? Now, the problem is that we are not familiar with the fact that we're speaking laws that damn ourselves. All right? And all of these words, they are syllables. Now, I understand that we have not been taught this, but again, a lot of us are speaking this information to you. It's up to you to listen and get the understanding of what's going on. When you're speaking these words, you are saying things about yourself, and a lot of times we have been damning ourselves with words, and we are clueless about what they mean, all right? So I need to go into these different terms, and they include black, African American, colored, Negro, descendant of the slaves, minority, even Moorish American, even calling this land Morocco. You're making a contract, and you need to understand what kind of contracts you're writing with your mouth. We're going to get into this, all right? So let's start off with the number one term that we've been known to call ourselves, black. Now, most of us who are watching this, you know better. You know not to call yourselves black, all right? And you know when you come across people who are constantly saying that, those of us who know better, every time we hear it, we're like, ooh, black, ooh, ooh, ooh. Because we understand what's being said when this word is spoken. So let's get into it and understand what these terms really mean. Now, starting off with black, a lot of y'all know, and y'all have ancestors that are living that'll tell you that back in the day, a melanated person would fight you if you called them black. Before James Brown came out with I'm Black and I'm Proud, you get a black eye is what you would get if you messed around and called somebody black. Y'all notice there have been people who would tell me, well, these Africans come over here and they don't even want to call themselves black. They don't want to say they black. Well, why? Because they understand that this black term has nothing to do with the color of your skin. Even if you look at your skin, it ain't black. My hair might be black, but my skin is brown. But here we are, we've taken on this term and we're not even recognizing what it is. We're not even understanding the history, the recent history, where before James Brown, you would get a black eye if you call a melanated person black because it's a degraded term. All right, so let's understand what it means from a etymological standpoint, a spiritual standpoint, even when we're talking about a legal standpoint. What does it mean? Now, originally, those of y'all who know, you know that the term black did not apply to melanated people. So let's understand what it means. Black, let's talk about how old. It's a young term. When I say young, 500 years, it's not that old. All right, and what it really means is derived from the terms bleak, B-L-E-A-K, or B-L-A-E-K. Bleak, meaning pale and without color. Bleak is what it means, pale and without color. Ain't nothing about me pale and without color except for this part right here. That's it. That the term originally meant pale and without color, and it was not applied to melanated people. Now, what it means before I even go there, because we're talking about etymology, I want you all to even take time to look this up in other languages. Anything that starts with a BL and ends with a K sound, it means white or pale and without color. Blanco, blank, bleak. When you even take the term itself, you understand it doesn't mean anything that is dark in matter. It means pale and without color. All right. So understanding even from a spiritual perspective, the term has a negative connotation on it. Just the syllables itself have a negative connotation. Now, we've been taking on this term when, again, originally it was not applied to melanated people. Legally, what does black mean? Legally, it means dead. It means someone without standing. It means, and I want y'all to, I'm going to say that again, someone without standing. And I didn't say somebody who's outstanding. No, somebody who has no standing. Legally, you are ignorant. You are a child. You have no voice. You are dead in the eyes of the law. You are black. That has what y'all got to understand. When you open your mouth and you say that, you take on that term, you have said, I am that legally. That's why you don't want to go in the court. I'm a black man. I'm a black woman. You want to shut the hell up because you're not understanding that you're making a contract when you say these things, and then that is how you will be treated. Everything deals with law, especially when you're dealing with this system. So you need to be aware of the things that are coming out of your mouth. All right, let's move on. Because I'm going to move on to white, help you understand what white means. White legally means ruler of land. White legally means someone who is of a, what we call purity of blood. Okay? White had nothing to do with skin color either. When you look up white, and I've gone over this in the SF-181 form, where I spoke about what white means. The three things that it said white. I'm gonna pull it up because I don't even need to be. I don't have to freestyle this. I'm gonna pull it up. We're gonna see what the term. Can I get my system to work here? You want to work for me, system, so I can show what white means in the SF-181 form. White meant your original Europeans, all right? So you need to understand that your original Europeans were melanated people, all right? People coming from Tunis, Algiers, Tripoli, Montezuma, Morocco. Those were your white people, owners of land, purity of blood, all right? They were also people from the Middle East. Those are people with skin, dark skin. Those dark-skinned people coming from the Middle East. Also, your people in North Africa. That's Morocco. White didn't say nothing about no Albion. And when y'all look at that SF-181 form, what you're going to find is that on there, you do not see one place for, if you from Ireland or you from Germany or any of these other places, you have a place. There is no place for an Albion on there. Not that I have any issues with my Albion friends. I love y'all, but we need to understand what the truth is, that originally the Albion was not supposed to be any kind of citizen of the United States from the beginning. And even to this day, there is nothing on there that says, if you from Ireland or you from whatever, these other places where your Albions were kidnapped, it's not on there because they were never supposed to be citizens. But when you talk about black, the original black people were your so-called, your Albions, the people who y'all calling white. Those are your original black people. And now y'all have taken on the term. When did this happen? Mid-1800s. That's when that big flip happened, when there's a reconstruction of history, a rewriting of the dictionaries and a rewriting of the terms. That's when it happened. Y'all got to go and dig and do your own research. But just even looking at it from an etymological standpoint, black, understand where it came from. Came from a pale and without color, bleak. Anything with a BL sound, looking Spanish, looking Italian, looking even French. Blanco. You talking about white. Okay. Let's move on to African American. Again, everything we're talking about is from a legal standpoint. Now, what's wrong with the term African American diva? All right, y'all understand where that came from, Jesse Jackson. Now, I don't know if most of us know by now, that there have been many leaders that haven't been truly for the people, that they're playing this political role and they're put in your face to get you to say and do things that go against you and keep those who are running the game ahead. All right. So let's understand, you understand that term African American came in with Jesse Jackson. Well, what does it mean? What's the problem with it? Well, the deal is, when we're talking from a legal standpoint, they want you to have a country or a landmass. Let me rephrase it. A legal entity that you are a part of, a country, not necessarily a landmass, but a country. All right. A legal entity. So what does that mean? African is, or Africa, when you claim African American, you're not claiming a nation. All right. So they don't have any reason to respect you if you don't have a nation. So when you say African, that is a landmass. That's not a nation. When you say American, that is a landmass. That's not a nation or a country. And so what they call you is stateless. When you have said I'm African American, you have said I am stateless. You have said I am black. You have said I have no standing. You have said that there is no reason for you to honor or respect anything that I say because you are stateless. Then they can treat you as an orphan. Again, these are legal contracts that you're making every time you speak. So now that you have claimed to be an orphan, or you've claimed to be dead, then that's what they're going to treat you as. I'm going to see if I can get this SF-181 form pulled up so I can give you an understanding about all of these titles. So some people say, well, I'm going to call myself white. Well, you got to understand, white is a dead entity as well. And you're going to see it when I pull this SF-181 form up, that it is all of these, when you're talking about black or white, African American, they're dead entities that you're claiming to be. And every time you're saying that, every time you're making this declaration about who you are with your mouth, you're claiming to be black, African American, you need to understand what you're saying when you say these terms. Originally, I'm going to say it again, your black people were Albions, light-skinned folk. Your white people were those who were melanated, coming from other countries. All right? These are your Morocco, Tunis, Algiers, Tripoli, Montezuma, Britain. Those were your... And let me pull this up. It's amazing. Let me see if I can get to it, because it should just pull right up like we normally do. All right. So, and then the African American, you've got to understand that's a term that was put on melanated people, again, to keep you disenfranchised. Because as long as you don't know who you are and you're claiming legally to be something, then that's what they get to treat you as. And I want to open up this SF-181 form because I want you to see that all of these titles have to do with persons or dead fictitious entities. And this is how they, this is going to determine, based on what you claim to be, is what's going to determine how much of their estate they have to give to you. So let me see if I can open this up. All right, so since it's giving me a hard time, I am just going to pull it up from my hard drive. Give me that SF-181 form. Let me see if I can find it. SF-181 form. Where are you? Let's see. Here we go. Here we go. It's coming up. And I'm going to flip the rig. All right. Where are you? Okay, I'm going to have to click it 10 times. All right, let me flip my rig so I can show you what this is. All right. So we've got the SF-181 form. And as you can see here, let me make it a little bit larger. All right, so this is an ethnicity and race identification document. All right, so let me close this a little bit so I can make sure all my folks can see. All right, now this is you know, a lot of people have asked me about this document and, whoa, Diva, what I need to claim on it. Okay, now if you're going to claim something, let's understand what it is you're claiming on this ethnicity form. Most people have been put in this box, Black or African American. And this, I want y'all to see right here. Let me zoom in. Where is my zoom? Oh, I can't zoom. Y'all can't see it. Okay, look at this. All right, so you see here, Black or African American. When we go across here to the other side, it says a person. Now I need y'all to understand something. A person is a dead entity. Now you've been told, oh yeah, you are persons of it. No, you just called yourself. Again, that's why I say you got to know what you're saying, because from a legal standpoint, when these people use this term, they're talking about a dead entity. Or okay, so a person having origins of any black meaning non-standing racial groups of Africa. Now, the vast majority of your copper-colored people are not even from this landmass. We're from this land known as America. So there's the issue right there. You put yourself in a box where you're not even supposed to be. Okay, I'm going to go up here to Native or Alaskan Native. Or a person, once again, a dead entity, having origins in any of the original peoples of North and South America, including Central America, and who maintain tribal affiliations or community achievement or attachment, excuse me. All right. So now these people, I'm gonna go over this. I'm gonna go over what each one of these get. Now, white. I'm not gonna go over Asian or Native Hawaiian, but let's take a look at this though real quick. Asian. A person having the origins of any of the original people of the Far East, Southeast Asia, India, subcontinents, including, for example, Cambodia, China, India, Japan, Korea, Pakistan, Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam. Okay, let's look at this one. Native Hawaiian or other Pacific Islander. A person having origins in any of the original peoples of Hawaii, Guam, Samoa, or other Pacific Islands. Okay, now let's look at white. Remember I told you the three things that white says. A person, dead entity, having origins in any of the original people of Europe. And let us understand where the term Europe even comes from. Remember, this comes from Queen Europa. Anybody know her? She was melanated. Yeah, and the original people, again, these original people of Europe, Montezuma, Tripoli, that was Europe, because your original Europeans were melanated folks. Those dark-skinned people I just mentioned. The Middle East, these are melanated folks. That place over there we know is Saudi Arabia. Those people over there now, they're not even the original people there. The original people there, they were dark-skinned. Or North Africa, what we talking about, Morocco, those dark-skinned people. So, again, here you're seeing who white people are. They dark-skinned folks. Right here. To this day, this thing, you see anything on here that says Ireland? You see Germany on here? Do you see any of those other places? Italy? You see Italy? You see any of those places on here? Okay. That's because they were not supposed to be citizens from the beginning. All right? And this is not a diss. This is just what the facts are. All right, now, let me come out of that and get back to this about African American. African American, once again, you're claiming to be a dead entity and you have no standing. Let me go back to this because I want y'all to see something. What you need to know is that by law, when these people have your estate, which your mother created, that birth certificate or what have you, by law, by federal law, they have to give you something. Even if you're claiming to be a stateless person, by law, they have to give you something. All right. And especially if you have a social security number, they are responsible, the United States Corporation. This is a federal document, and the United States Corporation, by law, they have to give you something. So depending on what you've claimed in here, this is going to determine how many benefits you get from the United States Corporation. All right. So if you claiming to be black, you get a crumb, if that. You get some crust of the crumb. All right. Whereas if you claiming to be white, you might get a few more privileges and access to a few more things. And then you notice with your people who claiming to be Indian or Alaskan Native, these people, they get some reservations, some land, they get some benefits every month with some funding or what have you. But remember, all of that comes from your estate. These people don't give it to you. They take it from your estate and give you what your mother created for you in the first place. But if you keep calling yourself a person and you never take control of it, then they're going to give you right here whatever you claim to be. All right? But when you know how to take it over, you don't have to be worried about this dead entity anyway. But if you want to claim something, make your own box. All right? Make your own box. All right, so let's get out of here. And I'll go back to it. Colored. Colored. What does colored mean? Colored means a fictitious entity. So if you run around talking about you colored, you call yourself a fictitious entity. So when you're talking about colorable law means fake law. It's not real. Okay, so a colored person is going to be someone who is not a real person. This was not a term that was originally applied to melanated people. You weren't colored. Negro. Put your seatbelt on. Because the term Negro was, once again, not originally applied to melanated people. Negro was applied to the Albion. Why? What is Diva talking about? Where you get this? Okay, listen up. So, the Albion is grafted from your melanated people. Supposedly, this happened in South America, the country known as Argentina, where you had this grafting of your where somebody has specifically targeted the melanin in the skin to create a albion. Okay. So what happened is, how was this done? Once that was targeted, once that gene was targeted, then they started splicing these people with other beings. This includes the primate. This includes the canine. All right. And so what happened is that they were grafted with what we call the troglodyte Negro monkey. Look it up. The troglodyte Negro monkey. Wait a minute, Diva. We don't know what kind of monkey is that. What? The chimpanzee. Why would they change the name of the chimpanzee? It was known as the troglodyte Negro monkey. Well, that was what they were called Negroes, because that's what they were spliced with. Now, I'm telling you all, when you know science, you'll understand what I'm saying. But the deal is that when they were, and I'm saying I'm talking about these beings that were splicing, because these vessels, they come from genetic splicing anyway. But what happened is the brown being, the brown human, was created first. And what they wanted to splice it with other animals. They couldn't do it because of the melanin in the blood, or the carbon in the genes wouldn't allow this. But when they took all that melanin out, well, now they can splice them with other beings. And so then they spliced them with the troglodyte Negro monkey, aka the chimpanzee. And so what ended up happening is, when they started coming, because after they had gotten spliced in South America, they couldn't take the climate. So this is why they were moved to another location. But then they started bringing the Albion back into the country as slaves. And then the ancestors knew not to allow them to be citizens. Why? Why weren't they supposed to be citizens? Because they weren't considered fully human. These are the facts. These are the things that we're not told. It is not a diss to my Albion people. I love y'all. I'm just letting you know that this is why there was that whole fight. See, if I was to go into what really happened with the Civil War and all this other stuff, then, it would sound crazy. But what do they say? The truth is going to be crazier than fiction. Okay. So they weren't supposed to be citizens. Why? Because they weren't considered fully human. This is why you don't see them on the SF-181 form. Because when they were coming back in here, they were just supposed to be slaves only. Now we get into the term slaves, because a lot of y'all think I'm making this up, and that's okay. That's why I'm telling you, so you can go do your research. They were only supposed to be slaves when they came back in here. And you can know this by looking up the term slaves and the etymology of it. It comes from the term Slavic or Slovakian. That's where the term slaves come from. So you can go and look that up and see it for yourself. Slavics and Slovakian, those were light-skinned people. Those are not melanated folks. This is why you don't want to be calling yourself a descendant of the slaves. Because again, we don't understand these terms that we're using. Legally, they know who the slaves were. They know who the Slavs were. And when I say they, those who are running the game, they know this legal stuff. These are things that we don't know. They know who the slaves were. You say, I'm a descendant of the slaves. You're a descendant of the Albion. Is that what you just said? You're a descendant of, quote unquote, white people. That's what you've just said. And they're not white, by the way. They're not. They are. That's why I call them Albion, because that's what they are, the Albion. And then we're not black. You should be taking that term on either. Either way, you got to understand from a legal standpoint what you're saying when you say these words out of your mouth. I'm descendant of the slaves. Oh, really? Oh, let's put them down as black. Because that's what they are. They don't know that they just said that goods. And if we don't give, then they not going to get no benefits then. You descended of, okay. Not understanding who the original slaves were. All right. Bringing up the term minority. Minority, what does that mean? Ask you a question. What do they call someone who is not old enough to vote? What do they call them? They call them a minor. Yeah, they're too young to vote. They have no legal standing. They have no voice. They are a child. They are an imbecile. So when they're saying you are a minority, and you're thinking, we're fewer in number. No, that's not what that means. The minorities are out here rioting and picketing, and the ignorant people with no voice and no standing, the people who are childish imbeciles, they're out here picketing. That's what minority means. It doesn't have anything to do with fewer in number. It has to do with your status. And you openly call yourself these things. You don't understand what you said from a legal standpoint when you're calling yourself these terms. All right. I want to get into this one. This one's going to be controversial because I know a lot of people want to call themselves Moors. You got these people who come in and they're telling you, oh, you a Moor. You a Moor because you black. You black. And Moor has the Moor. Once again, another term that had nothing to do with skin color. Nothing. Moor. M-O-O-R-I-N-G. M-O-O-R-E-D. Look it up. Moored or mooring. Moored or mooring. Look it up. What does it mean? It means a job done on a ship. It is a verb. And what it really originally dealt with are sailors. These people were on these ships. They were sailing constantly. And they started to become named Moors because of the job they did on ships. This is not a term of endearment, people. Like we're being told, okay, it's no more a term of endearment than the term nigger. And people run around, oh nigga, what is it? And oh, it means a king and queen. Okay. But that's not originally what that term was meant. Just like Moor, when they was calling people Moor, it was because of their attitudes and the things that they did. They were land stealing thieves. They were pirates. That's what they were. These Moors, they would do all kind of negative things, and most of them were melanated. And so now they call these people Moors, and here we go in this day and age. And you've got people telling you, oh, you a Moor, because you black. And when Moors came from Tunis, Algiers, Tripoli, Montezuma, Morocco, and you're claiming to be what these people are calling you. So it's very much like today, anywhere you go, because this term African American has become so prevalent. And people, everybody, if you're from America and you dark skinned, they want to call you African American. And that, oh yes. And so 10 years from now, 100 years from now, they'll be saying, yeah, all the people in North America who were dark skinned, they were African American. And people like me gonna be like, what? No, we're not. We're not no African American. And the problem is that they're putting these terms on us retroactively. And then here you got this term Moor that's being put on, people are trying to claim that you are because you have dark skin. And when they say it, they're really talking about people from another land, dark skinned people from another land. Why don't we know that? Because we've been made to think that because we all have this dark skin, that we're all the same people, which is not the case. So if I tell you that, I'm going to say something even more controversial. Some of y'all are closer to the Albion in relations than you are to some of these dark people. Especially talking about your Hamitic people from what we know as Africa. Some of y'all are closer to these Albions in relation, blood relations, than you are to a Hamitic African. But because we all dark skinned, they want to act like we the same people. Okay, I'm not trying to cause a division. I just need you to know the truth and the facts. All right. So getting back to the term Moor, if you want to call yourself, then call yourself that. But we also have people calling themselves Moorish American. Moorish American. Here's the problem with that term. Moorish means kind of like, somewhat, not really. So understand, just the term Moorish by itself is an issue. Then when you take the term Moorish American, you need to understand that title, that's a title. All these words, they're titles. That title belongs to somebody else. It's called the MSOT, whatever. What is it? I'm drawing a blank on the name. Science Temple, Moorish Science Temple of America. That's what it is. It belongs to the Moorish Science Temple of America, Incorporated. Who is it incorporated under? The United States Corporation. So you go calling yourself Moorish American. What you've done is put yourself or claim the title that's coined or under copyright by the Moorish Science Temple of America. Well, what happens with that? Moorish Science Temple of America is under the United States Corporation. You might as well call yourself black. You might as well call yourself African American. You might as well call yourself minority and Negro, colored and dead. You just put yourself back up under that jurisdiction when you claim that title. Once again, all of these titles, black, African American, Negro, colored, even Indian, white, they're all terms that are under copyright. So that when you take on those terms, legally you are declaring yourself as property up under the United States Corporation or whomever is claiming that title. And since the Moorish Science Temple of America has coined Moorish American, and you take that title on and they are up under the United States Corporation, well then you just, people think they're going to jump, I'm going to jump off from under the United States, I'm going to go over here under the Moorish Science Temple. Not understanding that they're incorporated up under America. So you just threw yourself back up under them. You got to understand legally what's going on. Go look it up. Do your own research. Now, I'm going to go into this one. When you have people who want to call North America Morocco, y'all need to watch your tongue. And I'm going to tell you why. Because once again, I told you there's a Moorish Science Temple. There are different ones. Some of them are not incorporated. Some of them are. But your ones that are incorporated, and they're trying to get you to call this Morocco, you need to understand why. Okay, they are still working with Britain to take the land from you. There are people in these temples that are still working with Britain to take the land from you or keep you from having it. And every time you open your mouth and you make these statements, you turn it back over. What am I talking about? All right, you need to understand what Morocco is. That is, again, a title. It belongs to somebody. And you start calling this a title, you, as the original people of the land, have turned it over. Because you don't know who you are, and the fact that your tongue and the words that come out of your mouth make contracts. Go ahead and call this Morocco, and you know what's going to happen? Well, they said that it is Morocco, and Morocco, I own Morocco. This is Britain talking. I own Morocco, so they said it's Morocco. Morocco belongs to me, so then it belongs to me. Thank you. Thank you, black, ignorant Negroes and colored people in Africa. Thank you. Because you don't understand. You are the owner. You are the white. You the landowner. And what you say goes. The problem is you don't know your power, nor who you are, nor the words that are coming out of your mouth. So when you say it, you have made a contract, and they're going to hold you to it. And you keep going, Black Lives Matter, and the black people is, and I'm the black man, and I'm the black woman, and then you're not getting that they're saying, okay, yes, you are. Yes, you are dead. Yes, you are ignorant. Yes, you do not have any legal standing. Yes, you are childish. They're holding you to your own words. And this is why it's important for us to come into understanding about who we are and what our power is and what these terms are that we're blurting all out here into the cosmos. What are you saying? I'm going to see if I have any comments, which I know I did. I know I've upset some people. I want y'all to know I love you. I just need you to know what you're saying. And then after that, once the bell has been rung, because I got to say what the spirits are telling me to say. And once the bell has been rung, if you want to keep saying whatever you're saying, then that's all right. I respect that. But it can't be on my watch that I didn't tell you. Spirits told me to tell you. I'm telling you. So let me see if I have any comments. I want to thank everybody for joining me this evening. Let's see if I can get in here. Let me see if I have any comments. Anybody was upset. I know y'all be pretty tired. Quiet, rather. Y'all tend to be quiet. But I know I'm preaching to the choir for the most part. I know I'm preaching to the choir. But I do want to see if you all do have any comments so that I can speak on them. And thank those of you all who have listened. I thank those of you all who have done your homework. Thank you. You know, when I used to speak on this a while back, people would look at me as though I had two heads. I was like, y'all didn't know that? Y'all, here you can look. And I even show it, take them to it and show it to them. They still didn't want to hear it. So I do appreciate the fact that people are coming into knowledge of this information, and it just makes life so beautiful. Now that we have people who we can actually talk to, and they don't think we have two heads. Let me see if I'm just looking in my comments because I can't see it on the screen. One moment while my computer loads up. Let's see. Oh, Bruce, thank you. Asiatic. I almost forgot about Asiatic. Thank you, Bruce. All right. I meant to thank you because there was this guy who once said, he was talking about, yeah, Moor means Moab, and all the Moors are Moab. And I need y'all to understand something. So when I start talking to these people who come in under the Moorish camp, and I don't want to diss, I'm not trying to diss the Moorish camp because I got a lot of people who I work with that have come from that camp. But one of the things that they try to do is like anything with an M and an A, or an M and an O and an M, and they try to turn it into more. Like, oh, that's a Mauritanian. Does it mean Morocco? That's Morocco. It's like, no, that's how are you drawing that? I'm gonna give you an example. M-U-U-R. They say that means more when it does not. M-U-U-R deals with people who came from the land of Mu or the land of Lemuria. All right? Whereas M-O-O-R, once again, is a verb. And it dealt with those coming from another land, mainly dark-skinned people. But I meant to tell y'all, if you ask your Moor friends, they'll tell you that there were Albion Moors. And so if that's the case, then you know that Moor had nothing to do with dark skin. It had everything to do with a verb. Now, getting to this term Asiatic. All right? When we're talking about Asiatic people, you gotta wonder, there were three different people that we're talking about. These are biblical terms. Japheth, we're talking about Shem, and we're talking about Ham. These are supposedly sons of Noah. So your Asiatic people were more supposedly coming from the Japheth lineage, Japheth. Whereas most of these people over here are claiming to be Israelites. That's from the Shemitic lineage. I'm going to tell y'all something right now. I'm going to give you another thing that isn't told to you. You ever hear the Jews talking about, he's anti-Semitic, and they're anti-Semitic, and they got these laws on the books about being anti-Semitic. You need to understand that Semitic comes from the term Shem, or meaning Shemitic. Shem is one of Noah's sons, and that is where the Israelites come from. All right? So why is this important? When they say anti-Semitic, they're saying you're anti the lineage of Shem. So it was shortened from Shemitic to Semitic. They're talking about you're anti the lineage of Shem. The lineage of Shem included the Israelites. And these Jews, these people who call themselves Jews, they're claiming to be the 13th tribe, which really there was 12 tribes. They're claiming to be from the tribe of Judah. All right? And now these were melanated people. All right. So with all that being said, if you are claiming to be an Israelite, then you are Shemitic. So all of those laws are on the book dealing with these Jews, and they're talking about anti-Semitic laws. Anybody who's done said nigga or anything else against melanated people, you anti-Semitic. When we going to start using those laws to our advantage? You are Shemitic. You are Semitic. If you claiming to be an Israelite or any kind of person from Islam, you're Semitic. You need to know that. All right, Asiatic. These are supposedly from the Japheth tribe. All right, and so when you're claiming to be Asiatic or whatever, you need to understand what that's coming from. All of this stuff is biblical, people, spiritual people. So Hamitic, all right, Ham means burnt skin, for those of y'all who don't know. So when you talk about Hamitic, you were talking about your South African people. I need to go back. Because I want y'all to see something. I'm going back to the SF-181 form. I want y'all to check something out. All right. I'm going to flip the rig. Y'all see what white means, right? White means a person having origin in any of the original peoples of Europe, which I told y'all, those are dark-skinned people. Queen Europa, all them, those are original people. Middle East, those dark-skinned people. Or North Africa. What happened to the people of South Africa? Why are they not involved in this? Are they up here? We're talking about these black racial groups. Why the only people in North Africa get to be white? Hold on, okay. I'm just telling y'all, y'all need to get the game, all right? This is a game being played with words, and you got to understand that it does not have anything to do with skin color. This has everything to do with status and what you are calling yourself. And if you don't understand these words that you're using, you're going to write a contract, and these people are going to treat you in accordance with the contract that you wrote with your mouth. All right? Sharon says she wants to ask a question. Ask away, Sharon. I call myself Amin Rai K, a.k.a. Ta Mary, a.k.a. Egypt, meaning Hetka Ptah, meaning the house of the spirit of Amin Ra. I am the owner in due course of law. My first name means chief ruler, Ahwa. I am. Okay. My name means Emmanuel. I am the K1 God, Emmanuel. Okay. That's what I'm talking about. You have to make your declaration, claim who you are, and once you do that, then that's how you have to be treated. So when you're running around here talking about I'm black, African American, descendant of the slave, colored Negro, then you're going to get treated like that. And you wonder, why do black lives matter? Our lives matter too. Well, according to law, no, they don't. According to law, no, it doesn't. And this is why, going back to the Dred Scott case, who did he claim to be in that case? He claimed to be African. Y'all ever wonder, you ever hear any more in their right mind, they do not be calling themselves African. Why you don't accept the term African? Why not then? You said you're from Morocco. Y'all claim to be Moroccan, and this is Morocco. Morocco is in Africa. Well, what the problem is? Why you can't call yourself African? Because they know that African is a slave term. It is a lowered status term. And when you take on that term, then you declare what your status is. That's why Africans coming over here, they don't take on the term. The ones who knew better, now they starting to take on the term black, because y'all black people, y'all gave them a hard time. Y'all like, you ain't black. How you blacker than me and talking about you ain't black? Because black didn't have nothing to do with skin color. They knew that originally. Originally, our people here knew it. That's why they give you a black eye if you call them black. Well, now that we've become ignorant, we've taken on terms that we shouldn't be taking on. Your back to basics class for trust is amazing, goddess. Thank you, Ifatayo. Thank you. My city is Sin City, Fitty, the state of God of the Indians in God's, a.k.a. Pennsylvania. Okay. Amin Ra. Thank you. Thank you, Amin Rikum. I appreciate the comments, but that's what you have to do. You have to declare who you are, because I get a lot of people who say to me, well, what are we supposed to call ourselves? That's why you got to do your research. Find out what your ancestors want you to call yourself. All right? Speak to your spirits. They'll tell you what to call yourself. But if you keep taking these terms on and you are upset about what these people are saying, the problem is you. You're not understanding that legally you telling them, when you say Black Lives Matter and I'm black and I'm a black woman, you're saying that you are a dead entity, that you have no legal standing. Going back to the Dred Scott case, he claimed to be African. All right? And African, again, first of all, it's a continent. No, that's not a nation. So when he claimed to be that, he claimed to be stateless. And then what they said is, in the eyes of the law, a black person there's no reason to consider anything that they own, because a black person can't own anything. What does that mean? Y'all listen up. a dead entity can't own anything. If you say you're black, then you're saying you're dead, and then that means you can't own anything. The United States Corporation is a dead, fictitious entity. It can't own anything. It's black. You don't want to claim to be black? Not especially, okay, if you're going to say black, you need to be in your privacy of your home. Like, okay. All right, but when you go into court, you better be claiming something like a God, or claim it like Amin Ra, all these names. I cannot been tepid, hoping it betai. You better claim something else. You better make up a name before you accept these terms that are under contract. All right. So let me see if I have any more before I get out of here. Bruce says, I don't know who I am. Bruce, get in touch with your spirits. I know that sounds funny, but you got to get in touch with your spirits and start doing some research about what really happened in history. Then you're going to know who you are. And you're going to have all these, you're going to have all these names like Amin Rikum. And you're going to know exactly who you are and what your landmass is. So you got to look, you got to do some research. All right. Kimberly says, I'm a sovereign citizen. Sounds good. Sounds good. All right. Just know who you are, know how to walk, know how to stand. And then you got to be treated as such. All right. I know. I'm a guide. I told y'all. And an oracle and all that other good stuff. But you got to know what to say when you're dealing with these people and what's coming out of your mouth. If we know, and those who are playing this game, they know where we come from. So if you're afraid to say that you're a God, understood. But you better get in touch with who you are, because those who are playing this game, they know exactly who you are. And until you decide to claim who you are, then they're going to keep treating you like whatever you say you are. All right. So with that being said, I want y'all to know I love y'all. I thank y'all for your love and your support and your patience. Because we're building here in UNA. We're going to keep it going. Wait a minute. Oh, I know. Hold on for a second. Before I get out of here, I think I had somebody else who wanted to ask a question. So let me see what I got. Make sure I answered Asiatic. Asiatic really is coming from the Japan. Make sure I answered that. Hold on. Hold on for one moment. All right. Okay, yeah. So Asiatic is those who are coming from that Japheth lineage. 28 USC 3002-15A state the USA is a federal corpse of our nation, and the natural people here are the Indians. Only 28 USC 3002-10. See, I told y'all I was preaching to the choir. I already knew that. I knew I was preaching to the choir, so I'm glad to have y'all here. Thank you for joining me. We're going to do this again. I got some more information that I need to spill out to you. I thank you all. Thank you for joining the UNA University seminars for this season. This summer season is hot. It's hot. Hot. All right. So we're going to get out of here. I love y'all. I'm out. Diva, peace. Where is my music? There it is.